Crapcom! Welcome, everyone, to the Strategy Guide's playthrough of Devil May Cry 2, the Lucia disc. Played by me, Mike, the Psy-Cat. Or just Psy-Cat. Mikey. Psyche. Mikey the Psyche. Before we get started, I just want to point out that because I'm playing the Switch version, I have this character select screen here, which is actually very reminiscent. Not exactly the same, but very, very similar to what they did for the N64 version of Resident Evil 2, which I'm glancing over my shoulder at right now. I own the N64 version of Resident Evil 2. My N64 is hooked up to a different TV. That's kind of like, sort of behind me. It's kind of like behind me and to the left a bit. So yeah, I'm going to be playing as Lucia, who basically looks like she looks like a... I'll skip that. She pretty much looks like a Ninja Gaiden character, if I'm being perfectly honest. Although, not as busty and a bit more moderately dressed. I don't know why I could not say that. I'm going to select new game. And then we're going to watch this cutscene.
In a time long since past, in an age of darkness, when the earth was overrun with demons, and humans were powerless under their rule.
Well, I need to do something about that.
Humanity's hope lived in a demon named Sparda.
Sparda.
With a spirit unlike any other, and wielding the sword that bore his own name, Sparda eradicated the demons.
Well, apparently not all of them.
And now, the legend of Sparda has been inherited by his son, the demon slayer, Dante.
Today's Dante will be played by not Dante. This old cliche. Hey, don't...
You called?
Looks so awkward.
Till next time, son of Sparda.
I wish they would bring her back. It's not her fault that the game she's in is, well, kind of shit. This game definitely has a lot of issues. Towards the south. Now, I selected a new game, but I'm actually going to be playing this on hard. How am I going to do that, you may ask? Well, because I've already beaten the game... Wait, status. Oh yeah, because I've already beaten the game, I have access to mission select, So I'll save. I actually had a file already set up for this, but let's just save over this. And then quit the mission, which takes us back here. Load. And as soon as I load, bam! And I'm playing a new game on hard mode. I could even play a new game on must-die mode, but I'm not doing that. Must-die can still be a problem in this game, but for certain reasons. Actually, you know what? I just realized something. Because I've already seen these cutscenes, I'm gonna skip them. I just realized something. I need to do something real quick. I will cut this out. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to basically change around the button settings on the Switch itself because the Switch has that the PS4 also has that functionality, and I'm just used to playing with certain button setups now. With these types of games, I like using Y on the Switch controller, that is, as the attack button, B as jump. Now, this is kind of like how I have Devil May Cry 3 set up for myself. Except in Devil May Cry 3, I can actually set the controls in the game proper, so I don't have to do anything weird like use X as the A button, which throws me off a little bit. Anywho, my main goal around here is to find about 45 red orbs to open the next door, kind of like Dante's first mission in the first Devil May Cry. This is the only time you use red orbs to open a door in this game. And unlike with Dante's first mission, there's actually more red orbs than you need. Don't worry, I'll be getting to combat soon-ish, I think. Lucia as a character isn't necessarily a bad character. She's just in kind of a not very good game. Although, this game has a lot of promise and potential, but it's a lot of squandered promise and potential. It could have been way better than it ended up being. And that's sort of like why I would actually like to see a remake of this game where the game is done properly, because there are some issues with the story here and there, but I feel like that could be fleshed out more with some more cutscenes and some slightly changed dialogue around. But the biggest issue with this game is more so in the gameplay department, which that can be overwhelmingly fixed. The first issue, of course, is enemy AI is pretty lackluster. On normal mode, you can like walk up to some of these guys and they almost won't even attack you. They'll attack on hard mode and they do more damage, but look at this. That one guy over there was just standing around, not doing anything. That's something that can be fixed. That is something that can be addressed. A remake doesn't have to have the same crappy enemy AI. If you land while holding the target button and immediately press attack, you can do this like cartwheel spin move. Well, not really a cartwheel spin, it's like a handstand spin. You know, the Sanji attack, as I like to call it. that. And if you, while targeting, do a short jump, you can do this, like, kick move. This charging kick move at enemies. Picked up a gold orb. I'm sure we all know what gold orbs do. And then here, we have a secret room. They're like secret missions, except not. Basically, they're hidden areas, and you just have to take out all the enemies in the hidden area. One thing about the combat system I didn't mention is that, while yes, projectiles are pretty much overpowered in this game because they tend to endlessly air juggle enemies, you can't really get style points for using ranged weapons. You only get stylish points you only really get stylish points for your style combo or whatever by using melee attacks. But if you have a style combo, like if I had, say, Don't Worry right now, using ranged attacks will preserve that so it doesn't go away. Because it goes away if you take too long to attack enemies. So, if there's a good deal of distance between you and the next enemy, you can use the ranged weapon to preserve your style rating, but it won't really increase it. You can also increase your stylish rating by, narrowly dodging enemy attacks. In this game, you don't really buy new moves. You can only really just power up your current weapons and buy new items. Which is also a shame. If they were going to do it like that, well, okay, to be fair, Ninja Gaiden, the Xbox Ninja Gaiden, did not exist at this time. This game came out a year before that game did. But, see, my Don't Worry was about to run out, but then I hit him with a ranged attack, and it came back. You also lose stylish points if you get hit during a combo. Ow. Or if you get hit at all. Even though ranged weapons are really overpowered, I'm gonna try to not to abuse them in this game. I'm sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. One other thing about combos, though, is that unlike the other games which use an interrupt system where you stop pressing the attack button, in this one, it's like if you press a direction after certain attacks, you'll change up your combos. But the problem is, if you hold down the lock on button, then you don't get those directional changes. This is an issue that could be resolved either by still allowing the directional inputs, but just have it be left or right. I'm pressing left or right now, and I'm still doing, like, forward and backwards inputs. But, Or if you were to remake this game, get rid of the directional input system and just use the interrupt button system where it's like you stop pressing the button for a little bit and then you start pressing it again. It's like, that would still pretty much result in, like, kind of the same thing. Oh yeah, I was saying about upgrading weapons. If they were just going to go with an upgrading weapons route, one thing you could potentially do in a remake, if you wanted to keep it like that, is to take a page from the 3D Ninja Gaiden titles and make it so that you get new moves and combos as you level up your weapons. That would be one way to address the issue. Of course, that's not a perfect solution, but it's better than what the game currently has. Of course, a lot of things are that. Of course. And yet another issue this game has is a lack of finding things. There's just not a whole lot to find. This could be addressed by, well, one, making more not just weapons that have slightly different stats and all the same moves, like actual different weapons for you to find. But there's other issues that could be addressed that I will get into later as they become more relevant. Like, there are things I could talk about, but there are issues that we haven't exactly seen yet, or things that haven't really come up, and I want to address them as they come up, as we get to them. Oh, yeah, okay. There were orbs down this way. One thing that's weird is that in any other Devil May Cry game, air hike would take you the same distance as wall hike. In this game, wall hike actually makes you jump higher than air hike. Probably because you start with air hike and they wanted you to have a reason to use wall hike. Whoa. I'm trying my best to actually make the combat look somewhat stylish. I think Lucia has a slightly easier task of that than Dante in this game because of the combos that Dante has. Oh, I went outside of their spawn range. I didn't even know that could happen. This is why Devil May Cry games usually don't have such large open areas and tend to lock you in. It's always funny when enemies end up doing accidental friendly fire. I suppose I should deal with Mr. Rygar over here. I would joke that that's a Tecmo property, but like I said, Lucia feels like she's straight out of a 3D Ninja Gaiden game despite predating them. Her combat style is very reminiscent of Ayane from the 3D Ninja Gaiden titles. Fucking phone. Jeez. I don't even know who the hell is calling. I'm just gonna ignore it. Ooh. That's most of my health back. And yes, Lucia has a devil trigger. for some reason. Given her backstory and whatnot, I feel like she shouldn't start with Devil Trigger. I feel like it's something she shouldn't get until a certain point in the story, but that would create problems if you were trying to remake this game for the second level. And that is one area where that would be kind of an issue, and I don't really know how you solve that issue unless you change when that level happens and maybe add different story context around it, because the way it is right now, there is no story context to the second level. We don't really even have story context for this level. She just starts out here and whatnot. Savage golems can regenerate if you let them get away. The enemies do have some interesting abilities, like the one cage enemies that have the Ryguard discs. They like to they can like spin in a wheel, and the other ones can sort of do like a two-armed, almost Tasmanian devil-like spinning around. There we go. I knew that was up there. Statue kind of almost makes me think of Thanos. It's the chin. I know that's supposed to be a beard, but it's just the way it's carved into the stone work, or the way the texture modeling is actually on the stonework in this game. Just kind of makes me think of Thanos from Avengers. By the way, one thing about secret rooms is that secret rooms have different levels, but the levels always correspond to the order you find them in. So, if I didn't find that first secret room back there, and instead found this one first, then this one would be considered level 1. Now, Lucia's lucky in that she gets a blue orb fragment regardless of which secret room she finishes. However, in Dante's case, he gets a blue orb fragment every 2 secret room levels. See, whenever the chips are down, you can just kind of do this, and it works. Even on hard mode, because of the infinite air juggle. Also, enemies having friendly fire always on can be a real boon to you as well. That's something I enjoy doing. As is that. Yeah, well, at least the music's nice. Blue orb. Do. Oh, I forgot to mention. In this game, for whatever reason, you don't press a button to go through doors. It just happens automatically when you touch the door. I think I'm gonna go on to the next mission. Power up. What can I power up? Yeah, I can make my sword stronger. What can I afford? Doesn't look like much of anything. Aerial Heart will give the Protector the chance to reach the skies. Guidepost for the Protectors. Chapter 1, Clause 8. This is a fairly short mission. Hey, no grabby hands. See what happens when you attack the sphere. Okay, these spheres are basically the wheels that are, like, common throughout the series. It's just they did them as big balls instead of circles. Oh look, goatlings. I can do an air combo by pressing forward. These guys are some of the better enemies to get that done on. Or I can just use my throwy knives, which just keep him... Jeez. Spark Mandrill isn't this fucking pathetic. And here we have one of our few collectibles. It is an amulet piece. This particular one is the Aerial Heart, which gives us the power to fly when in Devil Trigger. This is both really cool and really annoying at the same time for a multitude of reasons that I will get into. The biggest one, though, is that if anyone remembers Tails Adventures and how, like, sometimes they would do the bullshit wind where you couldn't fly up, or you couldn't fly in certain directions sometimes. This game kind of does that, but with literally no explanation. Sometimes you'll just hit a flight ceiling with seemingly no reason. Usually because they want you to, like, actually do some platforming or whatever to get whatever is at the top of said flight ceiling. But then they're like, oh shit, the ability... Excuse me. Something happened with my throat there. Like, oh shit, the ability to fly kind of kills platforming. I honestly think this is the reason why Pit can't fly in Kid Icarus. Like, the meta reason, if you will. Now, I could fly my way up here and have this go really, really quickly, but then I would be missing out on some things. I'll just let... Oh, right. He's gonna stay down there. This game makes you automatically lock onto things. Oh, darts. I can throw 3 of these at once. In this game, you're kind of like automatically locked onto enemies even without pressing a lock-on button. And you actually have to actively press and hold a certain button to not be locked on. It's really fucking stupid. I don't think I need to really explain why. You're kind of... I'm not pressing a lock-on button, by the way. I'm just locked onto that guy down there. Now I'm pressing and holding a button. This is so backwards. And yet, even though I'm not locked onto him, I don't have access to, like, my lock-on moves. I have to press and hold to then have my character do this stance where they kind of like follow the guy around automatically. And now I can do my lock-on moves. But even without being locked on, my attacks are still trying to be targeted towards that guy. It's like, what the this just is all kinds of wrong. And this is a really easy thing to fix. Make it so that I'm only locked onto someone when I'm holding the lock-on button. It's not that hard. And no, it's not like a thing, like, you know how in Zelda there's a setting where you can make it so that you toggle Z-targeting on and off? That's not what's going on here, I can assure you. Because such a setting doesn't exist with this. So it's not like, oh, I toggled it on and now I have to toggle it back off. No, if I want it off, I have to hold a completely separate button so that I can attack in a direction other than directed straight at this guy. So, if you wanted to fix that, oh, like I said, that would be a very easy fix. Okay, I don't want to fight you guys. It also makes it so that if enemies are in the room, it can be hard to just ignore or avoid them when you're trying to do other things. Like, if I wanted to, say, attack one of those round switch things, but there's enemies in the room, I will attack the enemy, or I will attack towards the enemy. Again, this be dumb, yo. Get up there. Thought one of those statues had another blue orb fragment. I must be mistaken. That's the reason they made those things into balls, by the way. So that they could place them in mid-air. When flying, press B to ascend. You will kind of automatically descend. You descend faster if you press A. Or in my case, press X, because whatever. If you hold down B, then you maintain your flight height. Of course, pressing B in the first place automatically makes you flap higher. So, there's that. I wish there was an easier way to maintain your flight height without having to first, you know, actually go a little bit higher and then, in some cases, have to sink down to the height that you want. All the while your double trigger gauge is, you know, running out. Ooh, stupid bug, stop flying in my face. So yeah, because this is the level where you get the flying ability, and this whole level is based on it, and that's based on Devil Trigger. If Lucia did get Devil Trigger later, then this level would have to be repositioned in the narrative and the game as a whole. And I don't really know how you deal with that one. That's one that I have not worked out. I believe it can be worked out, but you'd have to... It's something that would have to be figured out. And here is our first boss. Ow. You can just throw knives at him. Ow. Alright. Let's do this the way that I had intended to do it. Ow. For some reason I thought he was going to do something else, and then I remembered, oh wait, he doesn't have the move that I was thinking he was going to do. Nobody in this game actually has that move. For some reason, I thought he was going to do a move where he would, like, spin around with his ball, with both ball and chains and whatnot, and then I'd have to, like, jump between them or something. It's like, no, I'm thinking of a move that Zero does in, Sonic Adventure. Probably thought I was going to say Mega Man X, didn't you? Didn't you? Admit it! When he's swinging that around, you can actually get style points just for hitting the frickin' dodge button. And I keep pressing the jump button instead of the dodge button because I'm used to the other Devil May Cry games where dodge is, you know, a direction plus jump and not its own button. I actually like it being its own button for certain reasons, but it's just certain things are kind of like programmed into my brain. Ow. Yeah, it's like certain things are just programmed into my brain as like this is the way it's supposed to be. So that's what I end up doing. The thing is though, with using jump as dodge is that sometimes you want to jump and you end up dodging instead, and you end up doing like a dodge roll instead. That's why I actually prefer it on a separate button. But because this is the only game that does that, even though it's something that I would prefer to have, it messes with my head. It messes with what's sort of been pre-programmed in there from all the other games in the series. To be fair, that's really more of a me problem, and I can't even really call that, like, an objective issue. You know, it messing with my head because it's done differently than the rest of the series. That's more of an association thing. That's a issue built up because the games have done it a certain way for so long that it's just pre-programmed into my head. If they didn't do it that way for so long, if they had been doing a separate dodge button the whole time, then it wouldn't be an issue. Then this would not be an issue. This is only an issue precisely because they've done dodging a specific way. Okay, well, this is about 40 minutes. That's where we will end this episode, and we will pick this back up with Mission 3. See you all then.